Okay, so I'm just going to quickly show you how the game works, how you have to work together, how you have to coordinate, and how the leader operates. Now there is 1, 2, 3, 4 different controllers of the ship, and then you have the captain's chair in the middle. Now you'll notice that the captain doesn't have any computer. He has to, or she has to, communicate and work with your team, their team, to work together. Okay? So I'm just going to show you quickly the stations and how they all operate together. So I'm in Helm. Helm is the controller of the ship. They can move the ship around. You can think of them as the driver. You can see here your main screen, and in the center is you. You're a pink ship, and you are, it says your name on it. It's a little bit difficult to see right now because everything is together, but I'll show you that in a moment. Around here you have your bearing, or your heading. And you'll notice it starts from 0 and it goes all the way around. Down here is 180, all the way around to 360, and then back to 0. And you can think of this like in maths, where you have your compass bearing, or on your protractor. So let's say I want to go this way. I have to click on here, and you can see my spaceship is turning on here. And in fact, if I look at my screen, you can see that the ship is turning on the screen as well. Now you've got two ways to go forward, or to use some speed or acceleration. Down here, this one is what's called your warp drive, and that makes you go really fast. And this one here is what's called your impulse drive, and that makes you go sort of slow. That's a slower way of traveling. So I can drag this up and increase, and you can see my ship is now moving. If I show you here, I'm now moving forward. And I can show you one here. So now you're moving forward. Now this one here is a very good speed to use when you're fighting, because you can turn very quickly if you need to turn. So I'm going to click down here, and you see my ship is now turning towards this angle here. Now you can also see up here we've got energy, and energy is 999, and this is how much energy you've got in your ship. If you run out of energy, you'll be stuck where you are. So to go really, really fast, or to go the speed of light, you can increase this. So we have 0, and you'll see actually as soon as I move it, I'll start to move very quickly. You can see now my spaceship is going very fast, and I'm going this way really quickly, and there's some asteroids there, and I'm going to put that down. And you see I'm now going to go to all, stop, put them both down, and I'm now going to stop where I am. On the right hand side I've got a few options. I can raise my shields, and when I do raise the shields, nothing really happens. You can't see anything really happening, but it actually protects you from enemy fire. You can see down here I've got shields, and I can turn it off and I don't have any more shields. I can turn it back on and I've got my shields. I can also turn on reverse. So now when I do my speed, I'm actually going to go backwards. You can see my ship here is facing this way, but I'm actually going to be moving backwards now because I've done my reverse. So I'm going to put that down to 0. This area here, you can change the main view camera. So if you look at this and look at this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change what's called tactical view. And you see the map has changed to what's called a tactical view, which is a very long range view, so you can see any enemies around you. Sometimes the captain might ask you to change to tactical view, so you have to change here to tactical view. When you want to go back, if you press cam on the front view, you can see it puts back to a front view. If I press cam again, it kind of goes back to my ship. LRS means long range sensors. If I click on that, it's a very long range. In fact, it's the entire map, so I can see everything that's happening around me. I'll show you this view when I look at science. Just a couple of other things. If I head back to my spaceship, so my space station, so I'm going to go up here. Now space stations are yellow in the game. So if I click on LRS up here, I can change my helm view, and I can see actually there's me, or maybe that's me, and there's DS2. DS2 is a space station, so the yellow ones are space stations. And the good thing about space stations, if I just warp again, so I'm going to just increase my green one up, I'm going to warp, Can I not? Well, let's increase that. Oh, I've still got my reverse on, so I need to take off my reverse. So I'm going to do my warp. You see I'm moving very fast. I've got to make sure I don't go past the space station. There it is. Quick, slow down. Head towards the space station. And I'm going back towards the space station. If I set my camera back to the front view, you can see I'm coming up to my space station here. There's my space station. And when I get close enough, I just want to reduce my speed and then click on Request Dock. And what you'll do is that will automatically then dock my ship. You can see my space station now is docking with my ship, and I can retrieve energy. I can get more energy back and make sure I don't run out of energy, and I can get more weapons as well. So that's really how you use how you use helm, or how you use moving. So I've just left my space station and I'm going to use my long range sensors up here. And I really want to go towards these grey dots. I don't know what they are yet, the science station can tell me, but I'm just going to head towards them. So looking at this, I'm going to set my bearing to that. Now, I don't want to hit those. They're asteroids. They'll be very bad for me. In fact, you can see it just going by. I think I'm going to miss it. Yeah, just missed it. I think this is going to be an enemy ship, so I want to raise my shields. Again, I'm waiting for my captain to tell me, but I'm going to raise my shields. Let me go back to the long range sensors. Oh, I'm not going exactly the right way. Okay, just wait a little bit longer. Long range sensors. Looks like I'm going towards it now. And there it is there. So I'm going to slow down and I'm going to switch to tactical view. So here I am in the tactical station, and weapons, or tactical, is the station that involves fighting. Now you can see these arcs here. What this is your firing range. So your enemies, which are red, have to be inside this arc. But also the enemy, if I'm inside the enemy's arc, that means that they can fire on me. You've basically got two types of weapons. You've got missiles and you've got lasers. So to do the missiles, I have to select the target that I want, and the captain might tell me which target that I want, or he might give me some choice. So in this case I'm going to select that target, and I need to load some missiles into these tubes. So I'm going to pick a type 1 homing. This will follow my enemy. I'm going to load 2 of them. Now there's all different types and you can learn what they do, but these nukes are very, very powerful. But the problem with those is if you've got any friendly units, if your friendly ship is there, it might blow them up as well. So these homing ones are very good to start off with. Once I've selected these, they're both loaded, you can see the fire button is ready, and I've got my guy selected. In fact, he's coming towards me. This is going to be quite worrying once he gets into I get into his firing arc. If I click fire, which is just here, you can see my missiles going off. There's a little red dot, and am I going to hit him? I think I hit him, but I need to fire another one. He's not quite dead. Now this is quite difficult for me to work, and I'm being shot at. It's quite difficult for me to work on my own. I'm just going to flip back to here, and I need to rotate around. Now because I've got him selected, my ship is automatically going to shoot its lasers. You can see there I'm shooting those lasers, and I want to just speed up to get past him. You can see here my ship is attacking that ship. I'm not doing too well here because it's quite difficult to work a whole ship by myself. This is really why you need a captain. So I need to make sure I load my weapons back up. Oh, I've killed him. That was very nice. So I'm going to load my tubes back up, make sure I've got some missiles ready. Now you can see here, I didn't take much damage. I've still got 100 and 100 for my forward shields, my front shields and my rear shields. But if those start to go down, then I'll start to be attacked more. Other things we can see here then, so I've covered these missiles and these tubes and firing the tubes. Your lasers will fire automatically because I've got auto beams on. If you take this off, you will stop firing. And I've got my shields up. I can also control the shields and I control the camera. The other thing I can do here is this frequency here. This is very important. I'll show you what that does now. Okay, and now I'm in science, and science lets me see the whole map all the time. And what I need to do with science is select these grey ships. Now these grey ships, I don't know what they are. They're probably going to be enemies, but I need to click on them, and it's unknown right now. I don't know what that is. I can see the direction is 333. What that means is if the helm, the movement guy, sets the bearing to 333, that means I'll be on an intercept course. I'll be able to hit it. So maybe the captain will ask you which direction is the nearest enemy, and you need to click on the nearest enemy and type 333. Now he's grey right now. If I click on scan, you can see this is slowly going around. I'll just give it a second. It takes about maybe 5 or 6 seconds, and you see it's gone red, and it tells me now that that is definitely an enemy. It tells me the forward shields and the rear shields, and it tells me how big it is, so I can give that information. Now this is a Kralian battleship. This is quite a difficult ship, so I want to be ready. Maybe I can ask the Intrepid, my other ship, to come and help me. Now if I've got it selected and I scan it again, you can see it's scanning again, and what this will do is this will give me some more information on that ship and how I can defeat it. So now it says this one here. Now these are the different frequencies of the lasers, of the shield, sorry, that's using. And if I set my shield, my lasers, to the strongest one, so let's pick C. So that means if I tell my weapons guy to set the laser frequency to C, there you go, it's now C. That means I'll be more powerful against that enemy because I'm using the right frequency. So that's the main role of the science person, to make sure they're keeping an overall look at what everything is doing. The last station is engineering. Okay, in engineering you've got two main jobs. One job involves all of these different dials here, and I'll show you what those do in just a moment. The other one involves this. Now this is a 3D view of your ship. In fact, I can use my mouse and drag it around, and I can see all of these dots. Now these dots are all the different parts of my ship, and some of them might be damaged. If I'm in a big battle, if I'm in a big fight, then these will become damaged and red, and I need to click on them to send some of my repair crews to repair them. But you see, if I click on them, like for example, if I click on this blue one here, it says this is impulse. That's my impulse engines. So if I click on that, if I lose that, then I'm going to go slower. Whereas, let's pick something like sensors. If I lose my sensors, that means I won't be able to see as far. So you have to make sure that you're doing repairs on here, and you'll work it out. These diamonds here are my repair crews, so they're moving around and they're going to try and fix everything. If I have this selected, autonomous, that means that they'll do it themselves. If I turn it off, that means I can control them. So I can select this repair crew, and I can click up here and he'll start to move up there to fix it. But normally you can just leave this autonomous on and they'll get on with that. This section here it controls the power of all of your different systems, and this is where you can become really, really powerful. You have your primary beam here, and you see it's 100%, 100%, 100%. My torpedoes, my sensors, I just clicked on this, let me just exit that. Maneuvering thrusters, that's let me turn really fast. Impulse, warp, front shield and rear shield. And what I can do is I can increase the power of these. So let's say some enemies are coming at me at the front. What my captain might say is increase the power to the front shields. So I can get this and I can increase my power to maybe 200%. Now I've set this to 200%, let me set it to 300%, so now it's 3 times more powerful than usual. And you'll notice this starting to go up and start from green and go red. And what this is the heat that this front shield is now suffering. In fact, you can see it's getting really hot and it's taking damage, it's going red here. So what I can do is, if I want to keep this useful, I can put some cooling. So these yellow ones are cooling, so if I put lots of cooling up there, maybe decrease it back, you see the temperature's just going to start to come down. Because if I put everything to the top maximum, I'm going to use lots of energy. My energy is going to go to 0, but also I might take damage because it's too hot, so I need to balance it with the amount of cooling I put into it. So let me put my cooling back down to maybe 3, and that seems to be well balanced for 178%. But I've got to keep an eye on it. That's the thing with the engineer, you've got to keep an eye on it. And you see my crew, my engineering crew, the diamonds, have gone and they've fixed that damage. The most important thing that the engineer can do is to always keep their eye on this energy. If your energy goes too low, if it goes to 0, then you can't do anything. You can't move, you can't fly, you can't do anything. So it's a balance. You have to increase. If you're fighting, you maybe want to increase your primary beam. You might want to increase your front shields. If you're running away, you might want to decrease your front shields and increase the rear shields. If you are flying really fast because you need to get somewhere quickly, you can increase the warp and that will make you fly faster. If you need to sense further, with the science guy who needs to sense further, then you can increase the sensor range. So you have to be very, very focused when you're doing this station and try and work out what the captain wants and what you're seeing and try and give the ship the right amount of power whilst always looking at this. If this does get too low, you've got a couple of options. Option number 1 is you can sit and wait. So if I decrease all these, in fact I can even put it down to 0, so that my front shields is now 0, and my warp, I'm not using warp, so I'm going to set that to 0. Then what you'll see is that will stay the same or even slightly go up. You can see it's slowly going up. It was 150, now 151. But it's very, very slow. The best way to do it is to go back to a space station and dock with that space station. So what's the idea of this game? What's the main objective? How do you win this game? Well, you win this game by, in a co-op game, you work together, so both ships have to work together. And really what you're doing is, in a siege, you have these enemies coming towards you. So I'm back in the science station, and these enemies will be trying to destroy these space stations. Now it's my job to kill these enemies before they come and attack these space stations. So that's the whole, that's when you know if you win or when you lose.